You said it was the biggest fund in the world?
Biggest pension fund, that's right.
My
California
Lord.
Teachers is second.
I didn't know that. I have a question from the Blog Talk chat room. And those of you in the Blog Talk chat room, if you put your questions in all caps, I can see them a lot easier. And when you see me send it back to you, that means you're in the question loop. Ask Mr. Chapman what he thinks about the Dow theorist Richard Russell saying that we won't know America by the end of 2010.
I think he's been reading the International Forecaster. Richard Russell has had a letter for over 60 years, and his probably one of the most, if not the most, successful newsletter. And he's not prone to rash statements, never has been. He's not particularly historically pro-gold or silver or anti-government or anything like that. And he talked about a week ago, we have all this information in the International Forecaster. He talked about a 1,000 Dow. And I and Dave Tice and can't think of his name again, have all called for 28 to 3,200. And I think we're going to be lucky if we hold there. And so Russell is right, and he implored his subscribers to get out of the market and be only in gold and silver shares and coins and bullion, nothing else.
Do you think, I don't know who asked this question, do you think the oil disaster in the Gulf of Mexico is a false flag event and that will destroy the economy of the United States and this region?
Well, first of all, I don't know whether it'll destroy the economy. It's certainly going to hurt it. And I have absolutely no proof of what BP did was a false flag event, but I surely think it was.
And please ask Mr. Chapman if there are any new developments regarding the Fed's possible seizing of our private retirement funds.
I've heard nothing further. They may not do anything because of the terrible situation that's going on financially and economically in the country. I don't know, but if they do, they will probably choose the option of voluntary participation with your retirement with the federal government, which will give you a guaranteed annuity, and they will use the collateral that you presented for this program as collateral on their bonds and bills and notes and that they're selling to others. And the minute they do that, you want to be out of there. The United States government is broke.
Mr. Chapman, from the Marine Corps chat room, I heard information this morning that the banks are rigging the states with the possibility of a $2.8 trillion municipal bond market collapse or conversion. I didn't get the full story, but could you expand on what we see here in California, that there is a conspiracy of banks that are destroying the bonds of the state governments?
Well, the banks, in some instances, bought the bonds. The banks, in other instances, underwrote the bonds. And the problem with the municipal bond market simply is that states, counties, cities, and towns who have issued these things, they're in trouble. And there's going to come a time when they can't make payments. And that will continue. And that means you really don't want to own municipal bonds. Now, there, without going into great detail, there's class action lawsuits coming against Wall Street firms who worked with other banks, and it is said that they defrauded the sellers of the bonds and the people who bought them. So there's all kinds of stuff brewing, and it doesn't look good for the Wall Street looters.
Mr. Chapman, my mother works for the International Red Cross. I am a senior Marine security guard here in the Middle East, and there are problems over here. And apparently many of the Israelis are sending their families out of the country. This just started happening 3 days ago. It appears they're preparing for a possible war here of catastrophic proportions. To say the least, it is a nervous situation at the embassy as we change our shifts every 4 hours. We don't know what to expect. Just as the militants are mobilizing, so are the aid organizations. My mother works for the International Red Cross, as I said, and she has now been transferred and taking on a staff that's 4 times greater than what she normally works with. Do you see the Middle East going up in smoke in the very near future?
There's a great possibility it will, but I certainly don't know anything other than what you know and what others know about what's going on. And, South Korea come out today and said North Korea torpedoed one of their ships. And, that could be the catalyst. And we could have the world running around in circles, bombing everybody. And look, I think that being in Israel at this time is very dangerous. And I certainly wouldn't voluntarily go there.
A Marine, from the same Marine, he comes back in. I got to get back over to the question. We had somebody pop up. From the same Marine, he comes back in and he says, amid all of this speculation and the fear, is there preparations that you can offer those of us that are in the military to prepare?
Well, it's pretty hard because you're confined to what you do and confined to where you live. And ostensibly, you're supplied by your own people who get the things that you need from probably local as well as externally. I don't know what to tell you other than, try to stay out of harm's way.
Yeah, he came back in and he says, I should have clarified, prepare financially, because obviously the war is not going to last forever, but in the meantime, it's going to, is there something that we can do to prepare our financial assets?
I think anything that you've got you want to turn into gold coins, silver coins, if that's possible. I don't know what your arrangements are. I don't know how much money you have, but that's a good start.
Okay. Going back to the chat room, in the Blog Talk chat room, Mr. Chapman, do you think the economy of the United States will crash sometime this summer, possibly the latter part of June or early mid-July?
Well, first of all, I can't put a date on it. And secondly, I don't know when anything like that's going to happen. I do think if they do not stimulate the economy, both the Federal Reserve as well as Congress, it's going to get down in flames. There's no question. How long will it take? I don't know, maybe a year, year and a half. But it could happen in 60 days. It's something I just can't, I don't know.
I'm getting this from both the Marine Corps chat room. I'm getting it through pop-up email, instant messages, and now it's popping up over in Blog Talk Radio chat room. Mr. Chapman, the word is out. The National Intelligence Director, Dennis Blair, has resigned. 2 senior intelligence officers have confirmed this on television. television with CNN. Blog Talk Radio's talk show hosts are actually talking about it. What do you see here?
Too early to tell. I can't read anything into it yet.
Alan comes in and he asks, I have a Fidelity 401k. Would it be wise to open a brokerage account and invest in some of the funds offered? Top 10 holdings in select fund include Agnico Eagle, Barrick Gold Corporation, Newmont Mining Corporation, Anglo Gold.
I know what their portfolio is.